There have been many powerful Sith in the Star Wars galaxy, many of which were said to have killed countless Jedi and decimate all who opposed them. But almost none of them stood out like Darth Vader. This Jedi killer was so powerful that even the Jedi who spent their entire lives training in the Force and in lightsaber combat would be easily bested by the Dark Lord. And after Order 66, Vader's primary goal was to wipe out the Jedi and their remains. He would spend years hunting down the Jedi and their artifacts, and before becoming the horrifying machine of a man that we all love and fear, he would use his superior knowledge and power of the Jedi to kill them in the temple. But after he was defeated by Obi-Wan on Mustafar, he would learn the real way of killing Jedi, the way of the Sith. And due to his past as a Jedi and being the chosen one, his efforts of wiping out the Jedi would be extremely successful, leaving very few survivors, if any. When Vader was on the hunt for someone, he would exploit the Jedi's compassion and target innocent civilians to lure them out to their death. And even if they didn't confront him, he would succeed in installing immense fear into them. This would be a major advantage to him because the fear he installed into them would deeply affect their fighting and hiding. He was so powerful that many of his opponents would already be crumbling at his feet before he would even activate his lightsaber. And to furthermore implant fear into his opponents, his armor/prison was designed off of ancient Sith battle armor, and was large, staying at 2.03 meters or 6'7", and was incredibly menacing. And before burning into the mechanical beast that Darth Vader is, Anakin was a master of Form 5 DMSO, and for those of you who don't know, Form 5 was a very aggressive fighting style, a stark difference from Form 3 Sorzu, which is the form Obi-Wan utilized. It was the defensive form. It was stated that at the end of the Clone Wars, Anakin was one of the best duelists in the entire order, and he proved that statement to be true when he raided the Jedi Temple and slaughtered all of them. Not even Jedi Master Sindrala could defeat him. But after burning on Mustafar, Vader was forced to use/make a new fighting style because his old one was just something his suit could not do. His suit was heavy and not flexible, and so to combat this new suit, he would create a new style, a mixture of multiple forms and consisted of heavy swings and strikes. But in order to fully use this new style in its full potential, he had to tap into the dark side of the Force. And thanks to his new suit causing him immense agony due to there being thousands of small little pins and needles poking into his skin at all times, and his past mistakes, he had a lot of dark side to draw on, and the Jedi would be severely unprepared for his new form. But even though his new style required him to draw heavily on the dark side, he almost never let it control him and always kept his cool. And if there was an opponent that was a match for him, he would grow cautious of them but never grew to fear them, because Darth Vader was not even afraid of death. We get to see this as much when Palpatine mocked Vader, saying if he wishes, he could have killed Vader where he stands in an instant. But Vader would not move and instead stand his ground and look right back at his master and say he does not fear death. And this concentration allowed him to be more powerful than many other Darksiders. Instead of being blinded by rage, Vader would end his opponents quick and quietly if necessary. This ability to keep his cool and not let fear overcome him allowed him to use a dark side ability known as Dune MOX, which in short was a dark side ability that starts with insults and comments on their opponent's weaknesses, but if used in its full power, allowed the Darksider to enter the mind of the other person. This would be a major advantage because if he could see into the minds of his opponents before he even fought them, he would gain a serious advantage. He could see their future moves, and once Darth Vader finally started clashing blades with them, he would pry at them, taunting their connection to the light and their weaknesses and fears. This would be most effective against Jedi because in order for them to be effective in fighting, they require great focus. And by getting rid of that one thing, they would become unbalanced and make mistakes. This would make the fight for the Dark Lord easy because he would use Dune MOX to make them reveal information or hallucinate their greatest fears. And if Vader wanted to, he even went as far as to temporarily removing the Force signatures from others, making them feel like they were all alone except for their inevitable doom. This ability, though, would not be one Vader found out himself, but rather witnessed it from Count Dooku. Vader could also show visions to others, as is the case with Galen Merrick when he showed the boy his future and his pain. But Dune MOX could potentially be dangerous if the user had a connection to the person they are inflicting it to. If that was the case, it would also open their own mind to their opponent, which is part of the reason Luke was able to, for a brief moment, see inside of Vader's mind and sense the light side inside of him. Darth Vader's cybernetics also played a huge role in why he was so powerful. When Vader had his limbs replaced by his cybernetics, they may have been outdated and plain old, but they were overall enhanced his strength by a lot. So much so that he could effortlessly lift people up and choke them with almost no struggle. But since his cybernetics were outdated, they severely limited his range of motion to the point where he could barely lift his arms above his head. His cybernetics also made him very vulnerable to being hacked, as is the case with the IG assassin droid, but Vader was powerful enough to break through it at the last moment and destroy the droid. Vader also held great knowledge in the Jedi as I have mentioned, this knowledge was not just in their strengths and weaknesses, but in their ability to use the Force as well as lightsaber combat. All of this allowed the Dark Lord to kill the once powerful Jedi warriors and bring them to near extinction. It would have succeeded if it wasn't for his son seeing the light inside of him and redeeming him. But anyway, that is why Darth Vader was so powerful and effective at killing Jedi. What are your thoughts on this topic? Let me know in the comments down below and tell me who your favorite Sith is. Make sure you like and subscribe, and with that, my fellow Star Wars nerds, may the Force be with you.